just thrilled to have you in our life and on our team. There's a little funny sun on me. Oh. So Jaishree here. Welcome everybody who's joining us, aka Deborah Dow-Spielman, for Dr. Angelov's friends, fans, students of life, and of course, clients, patients, of which I am one. And we are at Jaishree Yoga, Soul Culture Yoga, doing this interview in these crazy times to hopefully bring some enlightenment to our enlightenment. I will share very briefly my husband, Kalánidhi Das, and my beautiful daughter, who, by the way, yesterday turned 2 1/3 years old. We are absolutely grateful patients of Dr. Angelov. We love him, value him, and Dina and the team at True Healing MD. And I will share that as myself, a yoga educator and Ayurvedic practicing human being on the Ascension path, I became a mom at 41, very completely naturally and awesomely. And I am also a migraineur, as they say, or a person who has experienced very intense migraines, debilitating ones, my whole life. And I've been on the path of using allopathic medicine and then completely not using any allopathic medicine, awakening at 30, I'm 44 now, to come into a place of using naturopath healing medicine and totally ditching like the allopathic. And I realized that actually I need to bridge my worlds. I need to take what is amazing from Western medicine, like when Narayani needed eye surgery at 10 months old, and we knew that. And then just shifting into a place of adopting Eastern ways and patterns and ways of being in health. And that health aspect is where I connected with Dr. Angelov when I heard about him as a pediatrician. I knew I wanted all natural everything, and I also knew that that might not happen. And dealing with that kind of critical thinking was what we experienced when we met you for the first time. So here we are 2 1/3 years later, and I feel incredibly supported to be in relationship with an MD who is also highly aware and practice in that naturopath world, who does not judge me for being a person who knows pain, real pain, physiological versus, psychic, emotional, and as a holistic practitioner myself and educator. One of the coolest things was learning that of course, you're a Russian Jewish brother from another mother, the Jewish path, and that was was my main path in this lifetime, until the point where I became a Vaishnava, a devotee in the yoga world, and realized, oh, I'm all of it. It's all real. And part of our work is to bridge and connect everyone in this third world dimension with their spiritual paths and religion and beliefs to the higher realms, which we are in some ways being forced to enter. So with all that and all my love and respect, I'd like to now, I will stop talking and offer Dr. Angelov's wisdom. So we're in these times. We are in a pandemic. And I know that you have always worked with health and healing. And at the beginning, you wrote a really cool, a really cool blog. And maybe that is an entryway to offer you to share what inspired you to write that blog and inspires you to do your work. And maybe a little bit about your background.
I'll touch all of it. First of all, I want to say about the Jewish path, or Christian path, or Muslim path, or Hindu path. We have one God, right? So, and I don't understand how and why people elbow each other that my God is better than your God. It's one. So it's nothing to worry about. But we call things differently, but it's the same thing. Like, I'm a doctor, right? You agree with that?
I agree.
I'm also the father,
I agree.
but it's the human being is the same person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also the son. I'm the husband.
Yes.
And I'm the friend.
Yes.
So see how you go from one religion to another religion. It's in the core. It's one common denominator: humanity.
Amen.
So with all of this, I don't care about differences, and I think that differences are good if you engage in the right relationships, in the right engagements. So imagine that we are staying in one room, right? And I show you this object, and you describe this object from the point of view that you see. But at the same time, I see this object from this point of view. We can fight that object looks like this, and you'll say, no, 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 no. It's totally opposite. And we can fight with each other, but we will not come to the commonality. We will not come to the totality of what we see. If we add to each other, if I'm listening to you and you're listening to me, and we have another 50 people, and each person will listen to each person, we'll have the totality of the picture. The picture will be much, much better. So I don't want to go to my corner and say that I'm this and that, and that's who I am. So let me introduce myself a little bit in terms of how I developed from surgeon.
Very good.
I would not even say hands-on, but hands-in.
Mm-hmm. Real surgeon.
Real surgeon, urologist. So my last surgery before I left Russia was kidney transplant. And the interesting fact is that the last surgery here in the United States, when I was in the residency, it was kidney transplant too. So between these 2 points, I become family physician.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between School of Teaching in the United States and School of Teaching in Russia, huge, absolutely huge, because we adopted the European style, and I was fortunate enough that I had all types of professors, real ones, who cares about patients, who knows, who have their sense and common sense. They're not chasing money or anything like that. They was chasing the end result. They would care about the end result of the patient. Patient comes to you suffering, and get out of you not suffering. That's the good result, not the mansion that you have because you have tons of money. So this type of the professors that I had, and a couple of other things. First, in the course of the pharmacology, we had to learn homeopathy, we had to learn herbs, and we had to learn conventional medicine, drugs.
Wow.
And on one script, I can put herbs, homeopathy, and the, like, say, acetaminophen or antibiotic or whatever this person needs.
Mm-hmm.
Or I prepare the solution for treatment with the compound pharmacy, where it would be the herbs, it will be conventional drug, chemical, and also some homeopathy.
Okay.
And of course, DMSO as a driver.
What is that?
DMSO.
What is that? Oh, okay. Keep going. It's allopathic. Keep going.
So I learn all of this, and I get into my life. If I want to write prescription, I write prescription. On one prescription, I write herb, the antibiotic or Tylenol, and also homeopathy. And patient would go to one place, and you have 3 walls. One wall will be homeopathy, another wall will be conventional medicine with the back of this wall, and then the third one will be herbs. So this prescription refilled or filled in the same place.
Mm.
So knowing that and understanding and they taught us how the interaction and synergy of different types of medicine, and so with that you thrive to the best results.
Right.
And then I get to my surgery, and I realized that I didn't have enough of the medications to handle the pain, handle anxiety, handle the stones, like moving of the stones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So one of my friends says that, listen, if we'll get 10 people, I'll get you real acupuncturists from China.
Mm.
So we got 10 people,
Mm.
and we got acupuncturists from China who was speaking perfect Russian.
Wow.
So it was the time between Mao and Khrushchev. The relationship was really, really tight, two communist countries. And so the first thing it was, I remember that vividly, a long, long table, right? And he said, put your hands like this on the table. And he was going from one to another. At the end of each finger, we have 2 points of meridians.
Mm-hmm.
And he put needles in each point. So it's like 20 points.
Wow.
You're staying there and you're crying because it's very painful.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one and another one and another one. It took him 5 minutes to put all these needles everywhere. He stepped back and he said, lesson number 1, acupuncture is painful.
Yes.
So choose as least possible points as you can.
Yeah.
So this is how the journey with the acupuncturists start.
Amazing.
And then we need acupuncture for each other, blah, blah, blah. And, and acupuncture in Russia was like underground. Nobody has to know about that. We didn't have special courses for that, at least back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I'm on a duty. It was a huge 2-bus crash on a highway in Russia. So we had bunch of people with a lot of problems in a hospital. So, but before that, one of the patients came to me with a kidney stone. And he said that, I've been through all the hospitals, emergency rooms. I got the maximum of painkillers. I cannot take anymore. And I cannot take this pain anymore. Mm-hmm. I look at him and I said that the only thing that I can do is the surgery for you, but the operating room is busy because we have trauma, huge trauma. Mm. So I said that the only thing that I can offer you is acupuncture. He said that I don't really care. So I put him on a table. I put these points in the ear and then in the arms, and then the last point was in the foot. And I put this point, and this gentleman just and fall asleep. Mm. And I rushed to the operating room in a different house. So there was like several places in these parameters. So anyhow, instead of 1 hour, I spent there 8 hours in operating room. And so when I realized that this patient is still with the needles over there, I just rushed there because if the chief of the department would see that I do acupuncture, I would be thrown away.
Oh my God.
So I rushed to this gentleman, and the theory that if needle in acupuncture did the job, it will be rejected from the body. So I looked at him, and a lot of these needles were rejected. So I picked everything, and I asked him, how does he feel? And I said, go to your bed, and I'll see you a little bit later. 3 hours later, he brought stone like this, a huge one. That was the turn point for me. Then I start to believe in acupuncture. When I see a result by myself.
Yes, amazing.
So this is kind of upbringing, so to speak. And another thing is that I loved psychology.
Yes.
And I love surgery. And I go to my professor in psychology, psychiatric, basically. And I said, listen, I love psychology and I love surgery. How can I choose between these two? And he said, son, listen to me. An old guy. Son, listen to me. The good physician has to be absolutely perfect psychologist. And if you're not perfect psychologist, you're not good physician. So I care this with me and understood that it's not just your physical body, but it's also your emotions, your mental state, and your spiritual connection. And once you take all four of this together, not separating them, then you got something.
So true.
And then I got to the United States. I have to get all over the, my license and everything. And I applied for 51 residency program in urology, and nobody takes me because I was foreign graduated.
Yes, you're the purple rainbow diamond sheep, actually, not sheep, but we have that saying, and I will just share. Forgive us for working with the lighting because I have a little headache, and we put the light on, and then we realized I can't have the light. Turn that one on. So I want to interject one thing because I'm so grateful that you're sharing the same way you've always shared with me. And because we have some folks that have been working with me for up to 12 or 13 years in Kalánidhi, and we have your folks, I am going to say that you are, as I'm calling it, a rainbow diamond, light worker, healer, surgeon, MD. I mean, I understand that many people are awakening to the realization of the facade, if you will, the farce, the play of mainstream everything, most of the structures. And I know you're gonna, and maybe this will be for you to start talking about the new earth. Most of the structures of medicine, schooling, education, even arts, all the sciences, they all have to in some ways come down for the new to rise. And I understand you because I, as a person, a very sober person who has been in pain her whole life and also in bliss at the same time, I had an experience with allopathic or whatever addiction many years ago. At some point, I had to go through that high death cycle spiral to embody it so that I could understand how to use tools. And I see people become addicted to everything, right? From yoga to shopping to sex to whatever, as you well know. And to have embodied that experience is the only thing, I guess, in this life, in this realm, that gives me some qualification to talk about it. And so what you're saying is so incredible. And the stories you have are so incredible. And you're like a diamond who, someone once said to me, because my yoga classes would be very big on Sunday mornings, like they would sell out. And someone once said something like, I'm so happy there were less people today. I always want to tell people about you, but I never do because I want to keep you like our North Shore secret. And I understood it was like a compliment, but it was also like, why would we do that? So I want to share you, and I really want to see the future that you are. That I'm sorry, I know you're so humble, but you are that pillar. You are that acme point of the new earth, as are the people who are bridging. Yes, and so I understand that embodiment, but I am totally, amazed and enamored with your ability to live in both realms. So tell us maybe a little bit about what your experience has been in this realm up until this coronavirus point, and now how it's evolving because of it.
Okay. I'll take one step back to get to this point.
Okay. I'm not a professional interviewer, so
that's fine. And the point that I want to take here is that I do a lot of interviews. I have my radio show, I have my TV show, and usually I want my audience to be the driver. I have a list of the things that I have to tell you today. I didn't prepare the list that I'm reading about. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve people who have questions and they don't know the answers. So I would definitely engage people who are watching us, ask any questions that relative to this interview, and we'll be able to get you the right answer that we think is right for now. But moving forward, I have two remarks.
Okay.
One remark. We have conventional medicine and we have alternative medicine, right?
Yes.
And we have alternative practitioners and we have mainstream practitioners. Let me tell you something. The Ayurveda is 3,500 years with a chakra system, with the 5 elements, with aromatherapy, with the herbal, with yoga, with all of this. Chinese medicine, almost the same, about 3,500 years. They have meridians, they have 5 elements, they have acupuncture, they have herbs, they have Tai Chi, Qigong. They have also some kind of tools to help people to keep balance. When I studied both of them, I just realized that the main purpose of the practitioner is not to fix your left shoulder or right knee, gallbladder, or anything like that. The real source of the helping is to restore the balance in the body and less body to heal. At the same talking, if you take writings of my teachers, my true teachers, like Hippocrates, Avicenna, Maimonides, these guys lived in different places, in different times, were writing in different languages, having different cultures. And when you see their writings, it's like as if they were sitting next to each other and they were discussing different problems, and they start to get the answers. But their philosophy was the same. Keep the balance in the body, soul, and emotions of the patient. We take it, we bend it, we fix it to the way how we need it today. So now my question is, what is alternative? 250 years of current medicine, or 3,000 plus years of the alternative medicine? Who is the main players here, and who is alternative?
Right. Absolutely. So, amen. It's like the word conspiracy, or I shouldn't say that. It's like alternative. Think about what we're actually saying. That's the normal. That's the sane.
It shouldn't be alternative. No. I can tell you right up front. It should be integrative. Everything is needed. Everything was created by God, and everything is needed. So if God created pills, something in these pills, positive or negative, but we need it for something. And now in all my life, I didn't believe that I will witness when the medicine will be changed. I didn't believe it. And we tried it from grassroots movements, right? We tried to push a little bit better, a little bit farther, and it didn't happen. The government doesn't have any intention to change anything. They are very, very comfortable with where they are. And of course, all these entities of pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies and a lot of people around these medical services want what we have because it's very profitable.
Right.
But at the same time, just think about what's happening right now.
Mm.
Nothing could touch the structure of healthcare system. Just innocent virus came in, and this virus puts at stop the whole humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this in my life. I didn't read about this in my life. We have like two countries fighting between each other, but it's somewhere. It's them. It's not me. It has nothing to do with me. Look at what happened. All countries are involved.
Mm.
Why? Because the nature is talking to us.
Mm.
Talking to us. Nature is saying that, guys, just pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
We live in integral world, and we are all interconnected, whether you want it or not. You can live as the pigs and trying to steal something from someone else, or you can live in synergy. You can live in the best possible world.
Mm.
You can live in dysfunctional family where you have to steal food. You have to understand how to survive on this hostile environment, or you can be in a loving family
Mm-hmm.
where everybody supports each other. And this is this paradigm shift is all about.
Right. Right.
And it's not done the way we thought it will be done. It's the end of the world, basically. and this end of the world is very pleasant end of the world, meaning that, we'll go with this paradigm shift.
Yeah.
We have to understand where we are right now, where we were before, and where we're going. And if we try to understand all of this and support each other in this future, we'll be much better off.
Amen. There are many people right now in the world who are speaking to the awareness that the timeline that it seems to be for everyone in the coronavirus pandemic is so low. And one of the work, I think, for bridge builders is to not ignore the possibility of that, not ignore the fact that there is always an opposite, that there is evil, if you will, that there is malintent, but to upgrade in the right now to that higher timeline, to that heaven on earth, that some would call it, that all different religions and communities speak to. So what would you say to the folks right now who are in complete crisis still since the pandemic, who are thinking they're sick and living into that? What are some of the tools, I know Ayurveda and health, but for them to do, or what are your thoughts about that shift upwards right now? And
I would say that we don't like changes. As the human beings, we don't like changes. Don't touch me. I stay in a stinky, bad environment, but I know this environment. I know where I am. The future is the question mark. I don't know what will be in the future. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to believe. I want to stay here. And that's the whole shift that we are going through, right? If I'm the parent, want my child to do the homework, I know that I have to do it because it will be for good of my child.
Mm-hmm.
But the child wants to play with his friends. So he would say that, oh my God, let me play with my friends, then I'll come back home and I'll do my homework.
Right.
And I would say that we already experiment with this many, many times. When you come home, you go to sleep because you're tired and homework is not done. But you need to do this homework, not just for tomorrow, but for your life. You have to understand how it works. No, you don't understand anything. My friends are there right now. I said, you're just wasting your time. as quicker you do your homework, as quicker you go to your friends. So I do it as the parents, as the parent, with love and understanding what is ahead of the game. In his eyes, I'm an evil. I'm not loving person. I'm evil without any brain or understanding.
Mm.
The same way we can look at what is going on right now and how nature is talking to us
Yes.
from two different perspectives. One perspective, don't touch me. You're evil. Look at what you're doing. People are dying. People are suffering. And I can tell you that it's not a joke. And my heart goes to the people who died, who suffered, and to the relatives of these people.
Yes.
Yeah, and talking and assisting my patients of getting their relatives to the hospitals. I found another striking thing is that when person gets to the floor, that's it. No communication. That's done. You don't have telephone there. You don't have permission to come to the floor. You have no access to the nurses because they are very busy. And so basically you have your loved one in a hospital and you have no connections. You have no idea. And if your mother or father needs something and doesn't have any way to ask you about that. So we reveal right now a lot of ugliness in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's true. So, but at the same talking, we have to be, besides the fact that we have to be sensitive for people who suffers, we have to understand another problem. And another problem is the being isolated.
Yes.
I don't worry too much about coronavirus right now because it's a nature. It will take course and it will leave. It all depends on us, basically. And I'll tell you a little bit later how we make this virus angry or happy, how we control the virus. It's not the virus controlling us, and we have to understand it. But at the same talking, we have to understand that once we get through all of this, we will be better society. If you want to plant the seed to the earth, the seed has to be totally destructed and dissolved. And out of this will be a new life. So somehow we have to destroy our relationships in the previous way, how we interact in our life. And then we'll go to the new paradigm where we respect each other, right? So everything will be the same. Let me ask you a question, and also I want to ask a question to our
You've got
audience, right?
Yes.
What you dislike or hated with passion in our previous relationships, whether it will be airline, travel agency, store, healthcare system, education system, the law system, the government, and every possible single thing. What did you hate the most? What you dislike the most? And then we'll understand that before this coronavirus, we were like a squirrel riding in the
hamster wheel.
Hamster wheel, right? And we are running. As more we're running, as more the wheel will run. So we'll have better speed, but we'll stay at the same place. We don't have even time. We were living in the Groundhog
Day. Yeah.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Every day is the same.
Yeah.
Every day is the same. You have your routine. You go about your routine. You didn't even think about your work, about your co-workers, and everything else. Now it's time to contemplate. Now it's time to think, right?
Yep.
So people were so disconnected from the families. like I have to do a lot of different work and task to keep myself in a good shape.
Yes.
And with all of this, I don't have time for my family. I remember like 25 years ago, I was working 2 jobs. I had 3 startups. My son was no, it wasn't that. Was how many? It was 20 years ago. And I had little son, 3 years old son. And even if physically I was with him, my mind was someplace else. So I didn't see how my son was growing. And all of a sudden, I came home very tired, and my daughter started to yell at me. She said, "I don't know you."
Yeah.
And I said, "Listen, look at this big house. Look at 3 cars on the driveway. I pay for this house, for utility. I pay for the car, for insurance, for everything. You're through the college. Your brother is about to engage to the college. Where do you think this money comes from?"
Right.
And she said, "I don't care about money. I can live in a basement.
Right.
The one thing that I need right now is I need to see you."
Yep. She needed you.
And so I took liberty, and I had like a long time, and I put how much money do I need to maintain my life. And little by little, I promised myself that if I make my benchmark, if I make the time, my money to support the family, I start to cut hours. And from seven days a week, I cut it down to 3.5 days to spend some time with the family, because spending time with the loved ones and spending time with your friends, that's the time you have. The rest is slavery.
Yes.
So you're running as the little animal with the carrot on a stick, and you're running and running and running, and then you're still at the same place. So for me, this time off is the greatest time when people can stay with the family.
Yes.
They can contemplate, can feel the past, can take the best from the past and bring it to the future, and take the worst from the past and think how it can be changed and what exactly could be changed. So that's the beautiful time that we have right now. And even though it's very tough, it's very difficult for me and my family to stay at home and have like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get outside and avoid public, to go to the store a little bit here, a little bit there. But at the same talking, I understand that what will be after that. And I am embrace what will happen after that. So that is why I'm ready to suffer. I'm ready to suffer right now. At the same talking, without suffering, by the way, you will not enjoy. Imagine that you have food all the time, 24/7. You have all food that you can only imagine in a big table. And, it will be different chefs from different cuisines, and will prepare for you everything that you want on a fly. In a little bit, you will not enjoy this food. But at the same time, if you didn't have access to the food, if you didn't have access to the water, drink of regular water, even tap water, will be pleasant, will be great. So we have to have contrast. And with all of this contrast, we'll have to move to the new society, the new way. The humanity, talking about humanity, I talked yesterday with one of my patients. She's 92. And she said that, this is the worst time in my life. I said, how come? She said that I went through war. I went through starvation, fame. I get through disturbances in the country. I get through immigration with no language, coming to the new world and trying to adjust. But nothing was so bad as right now, because the house on quarantine, one of the um, people in her housing had coronavirus, so they blocked the whole house. She has no access even to the fresh air. And another thing is that now it's time to reconnect. Even though we disconnect, the nature provided different ways of communication through technology.
Yes.
And just we have to think about these elderly people and how much they need our help, and how much they need just human connection, nothing else, but human connection. This is the new paradigm where we get from the dancing with the wolves to humanity. And that part of the paradigm shift I like a lot.
Beautiful. I mean, there is so much in what you share, and it's a strong, loving. I'm. By the way, for those who don't know, we have a 2-year-old, and I mentioned that. And college just went out, and I will say that yesterday was one of the first days that Lolly, our grandmother, came in, and the timing was incredible because I had a nice epic migraine, and one of the transmutations that I experienced was, as you say, first going into the fear. We have a course called Soul Mapping Matrix. You go into the fear, you go into the awareness, you go into the crisis, and then you shift. You see the shadow side, and then you also feel the core desire, highest side. And we have to make a choice. We have to make a choice constantly, every day. But that choice leads to a higher realm. And love is always, as you say, the oneness of it all. Love. And, if you want to call it divine qualities or godliness, no matter what, there are some things: beauty, light, auspiciousness, blessing. And the tactic of isolating people right now is, as that 92-year-old woman said, it's the most horrific, but it's not the first time it's been used. I mean, it seems to me, I had a friend that said, older friends who said, he said he never understood Nazi Germany. We grew up with that as Jews. It's in bread. We just know. I knew, and I'm a little American Jewish girl, right? So that awareness of that tactic, for whatever reason, being used. What you say about Mother Earth being the answer is incredible. But people find out that this virus is airborne, for example. And what does that really mean? And then they don't want to go out into the sunshine. And people are wearing masks and running, which is just so counterintuitive. So how are you, my friend, my doctor, going to tell how you're going to let people know, or challenge to start getting real about what media to listen to, or what science is real? It's all real, or is some of it, what's wrong with doctors? Why is the medical association so backwards? Why can't it be like you experienced in Russia? And where are we supposed to listen to, and how are we supposed to turn to?
For all these years, I was studying a lot, different courses, different methods, a lot of different opportunities and pathways and stuff. And I realized that I don't trust anyone anymore. I don't trust. I don't care whether you are a Nobel Prize winner, you're a professor, you are author of 75 different books. I don't care. Mm-hmm. The only entity that I truly believe, and it's nature. If I see something in the nature, I believe it. Because nature was before me. Nature is here right now, and nature will be after we leave this planet as the physical body. Nature doesn't go anywhere. And if I see the rules and principles of the nature, and I can apply it to the my being, then I believe it. So with all of this, it's just common sense. So this virus is the droplets.
Yeah.
So basically, if the liquid of the body of infected person, and I mean infected person, it doesn't really mean that he's sick or she's sick or she or he is dying.
Right.
She or he can be carrier, and at the same time can carry this virus from totally healthy person to a healthy person and create disaster. This is what happened in Italy. Basically, they're a family-oriented community. They made a huge mistake to introduce the testing for people who are basically have advanced symptoms. And so that is why, if you don't have symptoms, nobody checks on you. Right. But you could be infected. Right. And these grandkids, the little kids, they take this coronavirus like nothing. They might have a little fever, a little bit of some kind of symptoms, but the immune system is so strong, they kick it really well. But then they go and hug their grandpa and grandma, and they get infected. And the grandmother and grandfather are in trouble, not the child. So this is how we spread from one person to another. So what I would suggest to do is you have to be vigilant, right? The only way you can contract it, if somebody sneezes at you or cough at you, and little drop of this infected fluid come in contact with your mucosa, meaning your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. So this three entrance in the body to mucosa has to be guarded. How can you guard it? You can guard it from the distance, right? I remember after September 11, half a year after September 11, I was in New York. And I remember I get to the basement of the Macy's in the middle of Manhattan. And my instinct, the first thing that I did, where's the exit? Yeah. So that's the vigilance, right? The same thing, person with frequent urination, when comes to any places, the first thing, where's my toilet? Right. The same thing is here. Who potentially can sneeze at me? I have to stay away from this person. Why it's 2 meters? Why it's 6 feet? The force of the sneezing, the force of the cough is not enough to outreach this point. So everything will be on the floor or on the different objects. And it's already the task of the personnel of this place to disinfect it. Yes. But at least you, at this point, will be not in contact. Right. That's one way to contract it. Right. The second way to contract it is when you touch the infected surface, you get it on you, and then you put it in your eyes, nose, or mouth. So till yesterday or 2 days before, when the mask was mandatory, I didn't wear a mask. I was just using my common sense. Right. That's number one. Number two, if you touch something, it will be on your hand. Yes. Even if you wear your gloves, it will be on your glove. Right. But then you go with your life, and all of a sudden the forehead was itching. So you itch your forehead and forget about it because it's like automatic. Then you take your gloves off, you come home, you wash your hands 30 seconds, and you think that you're fine, but 5 minutes later, the same place was itching, and then you have itchy eye, perfect storm, you're done. Yeah. So basically what I suggest to do when you come home, you basically wash your hands and wash your face. That's the second thing. The third thing is that this virus is kind of harmful only when it starts to replicate. When it's replicated, then you have toxins, then you have the effect of the replication. How to protect from replication is very easy. First of all, people who start feeling something, they feel like scratchy throat, they feel like itchy palate, you feel something is coming on.
Yeah.
You take half a glass of water, warm water, close to the hot water. You put 1 teaspoon of baking soda there. You put half a teaspoon of salt. I like pink salt, Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
You mix it together. You swash it and you gargle it, and that's it. If you still have some symptoms, you'll repeat it. So it's the first thing that you can do to create hostile environment for the viruses. So the viruses would not be able to multiply in this environment.
Yes.
So simple things like that could make a difference. But talking about humanity, talking about our interaction, if you switch sizes, if you think of how you could be effective not to get infected other people, and you think from different perspective, so then you will not infect other people. If for that you need to wear a mask, you wear a mask. Feel that you want to cough, you run away from the crowd. Or you cough at the place that it will not be transmitted to other people. So you have to change your mentality.
Yeah.
The same thing has to happen with the humanity. You stop thinking about yourself.
Yes.
Egocentristic. You start to feel about people who are around you, because basically people around you is your life. So the same thing happened in medicine. If we stop thinking out about our pocket, about our well-being as the physician, as the entity of the medical society, and start to feel and think about patients, so we'll have different world. The places will be the same. We'll still have clinics. We'll still have your insurance company. We'll still have pharmaceutical companies. We still have hospitals. We still have tests. We still have procedures and everything. But if every one of us would think about well-being of the patient, if your mother is the patient, would you do colonoscopy just to make a little bit of money if you understand that it's not necessary? Would you do surgery just for your pocket because you feel that it's good? If it's your mother, would you give diagnosis of the cancer and take chemotherapy and have a lot of money on the buying this chemotherapy for the wholesale and selling it like 3-4 times more than that? That's the medicine we are in right now, and people go to jail for that.
Right.
But if we don't have it in us, if we think about chemotherapy, if we think about conventional approach, there are better places, and we have people who introduced it a long time ago. It's like insulin driven the chemotherapy. In Germany, they use it for a long time. You go to the clinic, they take your blood, they match what chemotherapy will work for you and which one will not work for you. So then you take this particular chemotherapy that will work for you, for your particular problem, take 1/10 of this medicine, put it in the bag of the glucose, 5% glucose. You give a shot to the patient with the insulin. Your blood sugar will drop down dramatically, and then you give this sugar through veins with the chemotherapy. Cancer loves sugar, thrive on sugar. And one of the study that we usually have, it's PET scan. When you have radioactive sugar gets to the body, and this sugar will go right in the cancer cells. So this way, you do chemotherapy very selectively, and you know exactly what agent do you use for this chemotherapy, and this chemotherapy would go exactly to the cancer. No side effects, no losing hair, no diarrhea, no nausea, nothing. And why we didn't learn that? Because we don't make enough of money out of this. So
Right.
the paradigm shift has to be done, and then in the next level of our life. And I would say that we're getting to a real life. What we had before, it was like
It's coming.
tragedy of life.
It was the ugly matrix, non-real.
Yeah. And so this way we can change a lot.
You know, it's very common sense, both from a home, a human, which is to say, you know, physical, psychological, emotional. What you say is very practical. It's also in general, also practical guidelines for business, which is about, you know, that word religion comes from community. It's about bartering and trading, and we're doing this for free, and we're not monetizing this. You know, this has to be the high level of what it is. And I want to say that every story you've ever shared with me has been, you know, the reason that I felt and heard and saw the light in you and knew your intention and why I could have relationship and work with you. Even though I have to tell you, I've heard one of the greatest, one of the best herbalists, I won't name her, she called you a genius. I saw her at, we knew each other, and that's not to say anyone is perfect, but you know, there are people who are geniuses and somewhat mad or have an intention that is incorrect, if you will. So to be at the level you're at, and to be able to harness and hone in and now shift even your business model, if you will, because that's what everyone has to do to survive, it's incredible. And this is that paradigm shift, as you say. This is, you know, why it's true healing. And I'm very grateful because I have, you know, I came to you perfectly healthy, except for this one amazing karma. And you actually gave me ideas I didn't know about. Like right away, you said, why aren't you wearing glasses to cut out the blue light? And it's like, yes, like vigilantly, like always. Like, I don't wear makeup or anything anyway. What do I care what it looks like? It's like all the time. So you have incredible practical guidelines. And I really hope folks can hear you and feel you and see you more. And, you know, with all of us working the way we are, we'll continue to try to get that out more and to get you seen more. And I know you have a radio show. Where? So how do people find your radio show? Or
It's in Russian.
Oh, that's why. That's why. I knew there was a reason that I wasn't listening to it. Okay, perfect. But that will evolve, I'm sure. Or maybe this is the way we'll evolve it by doing interviews.
Yeah, I feel, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but I feel that another part of the paradigm shift is this. We are in reactive medicine. We're waiting until disaster happened, and then we try to fix the problem. The same thing happened with the coronavirus, right? We're waiting until person is very sick, and then take to the hospital and intubate this person and give the ventilator and all of this stuff. And by the way, these ventilators don't really work that well on one side. On the other side, we don't know yet the damage that the people have from this ventilator in the long run that get outside of the hospital. People in the medical field start to raise this awareness and feeling that maybe this ventilator is not the best way to go. People who spend days and months in the intensive care unit, I'm watching physicians and nurses from different countries, especially from Italy, where they have the biggest hit. And what it is the best treatment is the prevention.
Yes.
So we need to be very very conscious about what we do and how we do. Now, my mom was a teacher,
Mhm.
and during the war, she wants to be a physician, but time didn't permit her, so she became a teacher.
Mm.
And but she wants me or my brother to be a physician very much so.
Mm.
My brother very technical, so he is a brilliant engineer.
Mm.
And by the way, none of my kids wants to go after me in the medicine.
Because they're
So,
awakened to something.
yeah.
To something.
So basically, what I want to say is that how many lives we can save in intensive care unit with all equipment that we have, with all people that we have there. How many people we can save by this type of shows, showing to people that if you respect each other, you
Mm.
don't transmit this disease, you stay healthy, and you help other people to stay healthy. It's no need for virus to dominate.
Right.
So with this type of work, we can outreach millions of people and billions of people, different languages, different way of religious practicing,
Yes.
skin on anything. We are different, but we are one. At the end, we are one, and we have to feel this oneness. And once we feel this oneness, we cannot hurt each other.
Mm.
And this is what we do today before the paradigm shift.
Mm.
And so once we get to the next level, by the way, if you translate from Latin, the doctor, it will be teacher.
Future.
Teacher.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So our role is to teach people how to stay healthy, how to stay connected, how to have the best relationship that will promote the love and mutual guarantee and everything that we need in this life. Don't anyone want to be safe and happy? And
Right.
this is exactly where we need to be. And it depends on us. Every one of us can make little step towards each other,
Right.
understanding that we're different, but this difference gives another flavor to our commonality. We have this brilliant body made by God. So we have like 10 trillion cells in our body, and every single cell is different from each other. It doesn't mean that they're at war. It means that each cell in the body will take very minimum to survive and to function and serve the whole body. That's the normal body. When you don't feel any disease, when you don't feel any problems, you don't feel any your organs or anything like that. That's the perfect body. But we are not perfect yet. So we have to learn how to step forward, how to respect each other, how to love each other regardless of our differences, and embrace these differences. So we're in this bad spot right now because we feel attraction to this disease and death and economy and all this stuff and media. But at the same time, we're in the best place if we change our view to the future and to see how we can be participant and creators of the future.
Hashem, amen. Blessings in every language there is possible. That was a beautiful, beautiful final word. Anything else you want to share? I don't know if you can top yourself.
I want to wish everyone good health. I want to wish everyone to be connected spiritually. I want to wish everyone not just to stay healthy, but care about other people, care about humanity, care about the Mother Earth, care about everyone. And if we be able to create this network of mutual care, it would be an incredible world that I want my kids and grandkids to be in.
Well, we're going to make that happen. That timeline exists. It's the heaven on earth. And I'm inspired and activated to continue doing that work as just a mouthpiece for those who have the wisdom. But we all have the love. So I rub my hands together and I send out all the love, even though I shared some about the pain as a teacher, the coronavirus as a teacher, and we can heal through our love and awareness. Anyway, final word, that was it?
No, my
Good.
final word is my dear brother joined this meeting, and today's his birthday. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear brother. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
That's the final word.
That was amazing. Happy birthday, dear brother. Blessings to everybody. Thank you all. True Healing MD at Gmail is your is your email, and True Healing MD. You can all find Dr. Angelov at his website, and he and his amazing wife Dina and team, of course, working from home right now, but working to bring everybody more and more and more. You have been a game changer in our world, and you are a game changer, a wayfarer, an absolute amazing soul for the world. So thank you, and we'll do this again sometime.
Thank you, and thank you everyone who was listening to us and watching us. Thank you.
Please forgive us for all of any messiness on this side. We're doing our best over here. And thank you, Dr. Angelov.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. Blessings. Lots of love. Jaishree